Good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV and another edition of Thursday Night Live. We're all a little bit down. We're a bit like this after last night's performance, but we will be getting into that. Terry's crying his eyes out. With myself, Weak Philly, we have Dino. Have you had a good day, Dino?
Sleep all day, mate.
Oh, good man. Terry, how's your day been?
Absolutely shite.
And
Blunt as ever.
He's sexy. He's super sexy, Bowers. How's your day been, Michael?
Been all right. Met up with a couple of mates, had a good laugh, but I suppose I'm going to impress myself and be flat talking about this pile of shite again.
Well, it doesn't matter. Look, we're here to discuss it all and air our views, get it all out there, and then we'll be all refreshed and ready for Saturday. Before we start, we do want to give a shout out to OneFootball. The OneFootball app sponsors SAFC. We'll carry on after Terry's coughed all over our advert, but that doesn't matter. If you do want to download the app, you can download it. It is absolutely free, and the link to do so is in the description below. Fantastic app. It's got all the news, all the latest news, the breaking news on all your clubs. You can check out Sunderland on there, all the player stats, performance ratings. It's a superb football app. It's the only one you'll ever need, and we love it. And so a big thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring SAFC Fan TV. We are live. Which means we are on the live chat. If you'd like to join in and comment, we will try our best to include you. Already on there, Tom Wallace was first up tonight, saying, "Can we not start on a positive note? Need something to get us up for the final, which will probably against Blackpool. So why not dream of a comeback 3-0 win, then go on to beat Blackpool?" He says he still believes.
Hopefully.
If only. Dan Humphreys on there. Hi to you, Robert Foster, Jeff Holcroft, Spannerman is there, David Walker, Casey Cameron, Jude, Kieran Gill, it's Bobby Curley, Nick Griffiths, and even the Mad Mistake says hello as well. Lincoln City 2, Sunderland 0 last night, first leg of the playoff semi-final. I think we'll start with Michael. I think overall, what did you think?
Yay. Brilliant results. I've already talked about my own channel, and of course I did the match review on here, but like flat. It was just first half was dull as dishwater. Barely anything happened, but I suppose you expect that in a playoff game. It's always going to be a very close affair like that. And I did actually think the first half, aside from I think a shot that Lee Bird had to save, and when the Lincoln hit the post, didn't offer that. I thought we were comfortable in containing them. But in saying that, at the other end, we didn't offer as much of what I felt we could have done going forward. For start of the second half, I think Jones had a long-range shot that forced their keeper to tip it onto the woodwork, and then we hit the bar from a resulting corner of Bailey Wright. But, everyone knows my opinion on not keeping clean sheets, so I won't bore people to death with it. The first goal, Hopper left completely unmarked at the back post, lack of communication. The second goal, it just kind of summed the night up. And then from there, it was just a timid, flat, uninspiring 2-0 defeat. And, don't get me wrong, the tie mathematically isn't over. We can still turn it around, but I need to see a lot more than that, to be blunt. I need to see a lot more than that on Saturday. Even if we do go out, which I think we will, but for stranger things happen in football, just go down fighting. Go down, give it a go. Don't be tepid. Don't be uninspired. Don't just bend over and take it up the backside. I've had enough of stuff like that, to be honest. I'm struggling to get myself up for Saturday, but you never know. If we go 1-0 up in the first couple of minutes of the game and get off to a good start for a change, then you never know what could happen, I suppose.
Right, fair enough. So Michael says the tie's not over yet, but then says, I don't think we're going to win it, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, basically.
Which, to be honest, is most of the people I've spoken to today has had that attitude. Just very quickly on the chat, Emma Wilson, friend of the show, says, don't forget to be serious, lads. That's a comment aimed at, I think, us last night's squad. We was messing about on the stream and we got wrong of someone in the live chat. Chris Scott said, how's the keeper of the season doing, Dino? Don't answer that yet, Dino, because we are gonna come on to that. Well, we'll go to you, Dino. Overall, Lincoln City 2, Sunderland 0. What did you think overall?
Well, it was piss poor, wasn't it? I mean, let's be fair. I mean, as a team, played terribly. I mean, our first shot was 44 minutes, and it wasn't even a shot on target. It was a shot past the post by Gooch. When the team was out, the only problem I had was Gooch, because it said 4-3-3 on Sky, and the only problem I had was Gooch was in the middle three. I mean, since when's Gooch been a centre midfielder? Like, we've got Winchester and Ledbetter there, and we're playing Gooch there, who's a winger. I mean, that was the only baffling thing to me. Other than that, the lineup was quite strong. I know, Flanagan came in, unfit Flanagan, but he must have been fit to be started. I didn't have a problem with Luke O'Nien at right back, because I feel like he offers a lot at right back. Power was coming, like people said, Power was playing better than what he normally does before he went into centre midfield, which I tend to agree with, even though the last 9 games hasn't really proved that. It's just of what you prefer, really. But that was the baffling thing with Gooch being in the centre when you've got 2 centre midfielders on the bench. Baffled me. Obviously, second half we got off to a great start. I mean, we hit the bar and the keeper tipped one onto the bar, which was a good start. And then it was like 5 minutes later them scored, wasn't it? After that happened, and then we take off Jordan Jones. Yeah, granted he wasn't having a great game. We took off Jordan Jones we made 2 substitutions. Jordan Jones came off, and I can't remember who else came off, and we put, what was it, Stewart on, and somebody, I can't remember the substitutions, but the substitutions baffled us as well a little bit. We brought Jack Diamond on with like 4 minutes to go. I didn't get that. But overall, the game was lost because we just weren't good enough. Yeah, Lee Burge made a bit of a mistake, but you could put some blame on Flanagan as well. I mean, Patterson just gambled, really, didn't he? He was only jogging, then all of a sudden he turned on the sprinters and just pegged it towards Lee Burge, and Lee Burge panicked. It's as simple as that. Well, I've seen some of the best keepers in the world make exactly the same mistake. It's not just Lee Burge. Let's get this right. I've seen Neuer do it. I've seen probably De Gea do it. People need to realise it doesn't just happen to Lee Burge. What do you want, Phil? I'm trying to get me playing across, Phil.
All right, I was just trying to stop, because we are going to come on to the Flanagan. I'm just saying about the game, and then
you're giving a taste of what's to come.
Yeah, when we're 2-0 down, I mean, we went 4-4-2, and we just done what we always do. We just lumped balls into the box, and no one was having any effect. I thought Ross Stewart done all right when he came on. He was making runs to the near post, but we went out with a whimper, and I just don't think this team's capable of having a dogfight. I really don't. I think they're all just very lackadaisical and happy enough just to play the simple stuff. I've seen nothing from the centre midfield this season to show that we've got any creativity in centre midfield. The centre midfield's been the main problem all season long, and it's not going to change. It doesn't matter who you play in the centre. It's always going to be the same sideways and backwards football from the centre, and it always has been. And it was just piss poor. And for me, the tie's done.
All right. Well, so happy days. Happy days in Dino's house. A nice place to be where you're living at the moment. David Walker on the chat says, got what we deserved. We were now, but utter rubbish. Apparently, players balled it again. Tony Lee says, get Bowersy back on the commentary for Saturday. Good news, Tony Lee. Michael is back on the commentary this Saturday, so you can look out.
Thank you very much, Tony. That's cheered me up a bit.
Jeff Holcroft, Spannerman says we were unlucky not to score. We need to believe FFS, wherever that means. Yes, I know what it means. Don't write in. It's all right. And finally, Jeff also says Karen reckons we need to stick with the 4-3-3. That's a reference, I think, to last night when I think Karen said what the formation should be. But Karen hasn't got a clue. Absolutely, like less of a clue than I've even got. Right. that leads us straight on to, because we're talking formations, somehow I think he's going to bring this up. Terry, you watched the game last night, 2-0 defeat. Just give us overall what you thought initially, and then we'll go into it and dissect it.
But first of all, on the promising bit of news, Lee Johnson promises attacking football in the second leg. He promises attacking football in the second leg. So that probably means it's going to be the same players with the same formation. Just like he just promises attacking football for whatever reason. So people who think it was a 4-3-3, you're delusional. You know, it was exactly the same it was against Northampton.
Oh, cheers,
it was 4-2-3-1. It was all dressed up to be 4-3-3 to keep people happy. But really, it was the same old shite. It was a 4-2-3-1. Basically the same team as against Northampton, apart from, obviously, McLaughlin was injured, so we had to put Luke Owen 9 there and bring in Flanagan. Now, we couldn't beat Northampton with that system, with that team, with that two midfield. So who on earth thought we were going to beat Lincoln last night with exactly the same situation? A team that gets relegated, we couldn't beat. How are we going to beat Lincoln with the same two in midfield? These two players in midfield, or any two in midfield, to be fair, apart from the youth side, are slow. I've seen snails running faster in the back garden. I'm more positive in the back garden, chasing after a bit of leaf in the corner of the cabbage patch. Absolute garbage in the midfield. It's pathetic. This is the reason why the likes of Jones and McGeady didn't get a sniff hardies last night, because Lincoln basically can say is right. We're not bothered with Scour and Power because they're not going to go anywhere with the ball. We'll just double up on Jones and we'll double up on McGeady and we'll stop anything coming into the box to Charlie Wyke. We'll just forget about those two people in the middle of the park because they're absolutely clueless. The first time they get the ball, the first instinct for Scowen last night, a couple of occasions, there was gaping spaces in front of him. His first instinct, not to run through the middle of the park and go for the middle, go for the penalty box, was to look behind him, have a cigarette, have 5 minutes break, and then decide to go when it's too late. It's like, what's going on? Why is it so pedestrian, so slow, so sideways, so backwards, so negative? People say, stop being negative, we should stop being negative. The players are going to stop being bloody negative first. Absolutely awful. Then we 2-0 down. We got the only creative player on the bench who can turn the game with a bit of magic. And he won't even play him for 20 minutes. It's absolutely baffling what's going on through Lee Johnson's brain. It's really getting me so annoyed. And Dino says, well, it's the same two in midfield we played all season, the same kind of formation. The only one time we actually changed it to a proper 4-3-3 was against Hull. And we dominated the first 20 minutes. We looked absolutely fantastic. We're bombing forward. We're all over the place. And they won the league. And then we don't play that again. It's like, what?
All right, so you're not happy then, Terry, are you? Well, hang on a sec then. Dino, when we was watching the match together, right? And
holding hands
and all that, as friends do. And we saw it as a 4-3-3. So Terry's disagreeing here. So, Dino, what makes you say it was a 4-3-3 then?
Well, I didn't see Gooch once behind the striker at all. I always seen Gooch sitting either in the centre, out on the left, or out on the right. It was like they were always interchanging. I did not see an attacking midfielder. I seen a 4-3-3. To me, it was a 4-3-3. I don't get why they would put on a 4-3-3 and then not play it. I mean, on the One Football app, it was put up as a 4-2-2, and I even said to you, Terry won't be happy about that. And then it changed to a 4-3-3. So if all the Sky Sports and all these people know it's a 4-3-3, and then it goes on the pitch and it's not, so who's in the wrong then? Because it must be misleading information. To me, it
was exactly the same formation, exactly the same team almost as against Northampton. Exactly the same. We have McGeady, apart from, for some bizarre reason, Scowen decided to play on the left-hand side for 20 minutes. I don't get it. We've got an attacking midfielder like McGeady who can go down the wing. He plays down the wing for us. He can go down the wing, get the ball in the box. He plays in the centre of midfield. What? And we have Scowen on the left-hand side who just passes to fucking the invisible man, pardon me French.
Dino?
I'm not being funny. We put crosses into the box, and every single cross was terrible. I mean, I've seen crosses galore, and they were just getting cleared all the time. We're doing that. We're doing what we used to do: put the ball in the box. But defenders just deal with it because you've got one man in the box, Charlie Wyke. You've got to be able to hit him 100 times out of 100 for him to score. And our crossing is abysmal. If you've got one man in the box against 3 or 4 defenders, what chance have you got? Let's be fair.
I think I've seen McGeady spend most of the first half in the centre of midfield. It was never the odd time he sniffed down the wing, but the majority of the time he was in the centre wandering about. I've got
to say, Terry, though, I mean, there were crosses going on because, I mean, we did make the comment that the quality of them, the amount of times the cross went in and, you know, their goalie just came and collected it. All right, it was
Jones was under that much pressure with 2 or 3 men always on his case. He couldn't get a quality ball in. And that's because there's nobody in the centre of the park. They can afford to have 3 men chasing down Jones, 3 men chasing down McGeady, because we have nothing else to offer. There's nothing else there. With only having Scowen and Power there's nobody else. There's nobody running through the centre of midfield. It's complete waste of part of the pitch. We're just one-dimensional all the time. We've got nothing else to offer. If we had the whole of the midfield with 2 midfielders who could actually run through the park, get the ball, and then have people coming towards them, then pass the ball on the wing so that the lads are free going down the wing, then it's different altogether.
Dino?
Why are we surprised? We've played like this all season. Nothing's ever come through the centre, and it's always been that way. It doesn't matter what 3, what 2. Yeah, you said against Hull, but that's one game. That was one
exactly.
Game.
So why, Dino? Why is Johnson not playing to the strengths? We play against a team that's won the league and we dominated, and we almost should have won the game in the end. But no, I just don't get what Johnson wants to do. What he's trying to do. Does he want to be sacked? Does this bloke actually want to get sacked? Because for me, for a 39-year-old man to be so goddamn stubborn and stuck in his ways, it's beyond belief.
Right, Terry, you says if he gets into the playoffs, he'll have a job next season. So no matter what, in your eyes, he should have a job next season. He's done his job. He got into the playoffs.
Well,
end of the day, that's what I said. So I'll stick by it, but I'm not the owner. If we get trounced on Saturday, if we play garbage on Saturday again, and the fans aren't happy about it, KLD's the owner. Whatever he does, I'll stand by the bloke, you know.
Right. Well, we're gonna touch on that anyway. I want to quickly go to the chat before we move on. Mick Griffiths says, if Lincoln get an emergency keeper when they had a fit one on the bench and 2 in the under-23 side, well, we can get an emergency centre forward. Right, whatever. Colin Major says, I think we're all living in cloud cuckoo land if we think we're going up with this team. And you like this one, Terry. Steve Flounder says, for God's sake, formation doesn't matter. The players simply aren't good enough. Tactically, first half especially, White was totally exposed. No one was near him. Right. So
I take it that bloke didn't watch the whole match. I take it that bloke didn't watch the whole match. We had 3 centre midfielders and we dominated the midfield. We haven't dominated the midfield all season. Teams are just running down midfield. It's like a piece of cake. It is so easy. It's so easy. I tell you what, I could pick 3 of the midfielders in the 5-a-side football team on a Monday night. 3 of these lads out there will probably do a better job.
Right, okay. Well, that was Steve Flounders. But as we know, it's all about opinions. You can have an opinion, and that's his.
But he has a point. He has a point. They're not good enough. They are not good enough. You're right. But we can make life a little bit easier and, just do something different for God's sake.
Right, okay. Right, we'll move on to the next one. We're going to bring Michael in because he's sat there looking a little bit scared in the corner because of you two going at each other.
Firstly, that was great. This is exactly what I wanted to cheer us up.
We got 151 people on the stream, 27 likes. We like to hit 100 on a Thursday night, so just hit the thumbs up. It's free to do that. Just take a second. If you're watching on a mobile device and you have the live chat open, just close that down, hit the thumbs up. Yes, Terry?
I don't know what you mean. Going at each other, me and Dino always agree.
And don't forget, if you're watching also and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It's free to subscribe. Just hit that button and that will help us out immensely. Right, well, what I want to ask, Michael, we'll start with you. We'll pass this round. Who do you think was to blame overall for last night then? Was that down purely to the manager, or is it down to players or individual players?
Oh, God. Where the hell do you start then? Well, I want to touch on something that was brought in about whether the players are good enough or not. Let's point out that this group of players was good enough to go to Lincoln earlier in the season and win 4-0. And I don't want to hear Lincoln could have been 2-0 up beforehand. If that was the other way around, we wouldn't be saying that. So we were good enough to go then win 4-0. We were good enough to go to Portsmouth and win. We were good enough to take 4 points off Peterborough. We were good enough to go to Hull and get a draw. We were good enough to go unbeaten against Hull, for goodness sake. Apart from Blackpool and Charlton, and obviously Portsmouth at home, we've done all right against the sides around us. So I'm sorry, if anyone thinks that that's acceptable just because they feel the players are good enough, I'm not having that. There was no excuse to put that sort of performance in a semi-final. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. As for the Lee Johnson isn't. I think Lee Johnson. It depends. I do kind of get where Terry's coming from in that this Lee Johnson's job. Whether we think the players are good enough or not, which for me is an inconvenient excuse for the players to hide behind when they put in turgid, inept performances instead of putting the application in. Lee Johnson doesn't know. It's his job to find a way to get the very best out of the players that he's got, and over the last month, he hasn't. And people can say, "Oh, but this group of players is poor." Is it so poor it's only going to go on one win in like 10 games? Not for me. I think it's better than that. So I don't know. It's a mixture. It's a combination of everything. It's a combination of players not doing their jobs properly. Which, if that's the case, because these mistakes keep on happening over and over again, well, are they actually trying to?
Michael, can't hear you.
Michael, we can't hear you. Just something's come. Something's happened. Your mic's come out. Something like. Oh, see you, Michael. Dino.
Yes.
Is there any one person or collective who are to blame for overall for last night's performance?
Like Michael said, it's a mixture of things. I mean, you kind of turn shit into gold, can you? I mean, let's be fair. I've been banging this drum since the start of the season. I say we've got an average team, and an average team has. Yes, Phil.
I used to bang on the drum. Check it out. It got to 175 in the chart in 2004. Check it out. You find it. Nobody bought it.
But I mean, the team was good enough to win the game, but everyone should know every game's different. Just because you win Lincoln 4-0 doesn't mean it's going to happen every single time you play them. They'll learn from the last games. They think of something different to do. They'll change formation. They might change personnel. I mean, I thought the changing point in the game was when McFadzean came off. McFadzean came on. When Hume went off and McFadzean came on, they just seemed to target that side. I'm sure the first goal came down that side where they crossed it across the box. Lee Burge made a really good save because it was about 8 yards out and he smashed it towards goal. Burge just put his body in the way, hit him. We had 2 attempts to clear the ball, and 2 defenders, I think it was Bailey Wright one and Max Power the other, done the most feeblest headers out the box. Liam Bridcut nicks in front of Gooch, even though Gooch shouldn't even be playing in centre midfield, so I don't know why he's there. And then he knocks it to the back post where McFadzean should technically be because that's his side of the defence, and they knock it in. So the first goal came from McFadzean's side. I mean, the team isn't good enough. It's not good enough. Yeah, you can get the odd results here and there, but every game's different. I mean, come on, we've beat teams like Lincoln, but we can't beat teams like Northampton who are already relegated. It just shows not every game's the same.
Right. So you're basically saying that the players are to blame. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, players and some of the personnel on some of the changes were made as well.
Right. Okay. Michael, quickly, you want to be in before we pass it on, Terry?
But the thing is, though, it just every game isn't the same. Don't get me wrong, but I haven't just named one team that were beaten, apart from Blackpool, Charlton, the 2 Blackpool games, one of which was won by a mistake and one was won by a world-class goal, I might add. The 2 Charlton at home, Portsmouth at home. That aside, we've done all right against the sides around us. So even if you can say Lincoln might have learned from the 4-0 defeat, okay, well then we should have learned from the 1-1 draw that we had against them a couple of months ago. What did we do wrong in that game and how do we beat them this time? I do. Look, every game is different. Don't get me wrong. But again, I'll say it again. The reason we haven't gone up, and I'm not talking playoffs, I'm talking top two. The reason we haven't gone up in the top two is because we haven't beaten the teams that we should be beating at the bottom end of the league. And I'm not just saying as a club. I mean this set of players. People think that team's not good enough to beat Northampton, not good enough to beat Rochdale, not good enough to beat Bristol Rovers, not good enough to beat Wigan. Then I am done. I'm completely done. If I can't expect to win those games, then what on earth is the point anymore?
Right, okay. Before we go to you, Terry, quickly on the chat, Steve Flounders does say that obviously he did watch all the match, and he does agree with what you're saying there, Terry. There was another one John Treborian says the manager needs to park this 4-2-2-2 philosophy until he can bring in his own players who can play it for him. So that's a fair point. Terry, is anybody to blame overall for last night's performance?
Right, it's just the whole collectiveness, isn't it? It starts on the manager, goes down to every single player. I mean, there was more drive, more want, more desire, more will to win the game from Lincoln than there was from Sunderland. Like I said, very slow pedestrian, sideways, backways in midfield. The defence, I mean, it's been makeshift all season. But at the end of the day, you have to do with the team that you have. We do have good under-23 players who are possibly we could actually, start using one or two of those in the future, because it can't get any worse than what we've got at the moment. But the majority of the squad's poor, isn't it? Let's face it. We need to get a whole new majority of the squad. I mean, Wyke's only a good player if he's in the 6-yard box and you put the ball in his head. Simple as. Because, I mean, anything outside the penalty box is a waste of space. He's a passenger. Last night, it was like, we're like playing with 10 men, because he was a passenger last night. He didn't do anything off the ball. He didn't do anything with the ball outside the penalty box. He's too slow. He's got a touch. I've got a better touch than Wyke, and I'm hopeless. But, I mean, the only time it comes, when you got a player like Charlie Wyke and he scores all them goals inside the penalty box, one-touch Charlie Wyke, as I like to call him. When you got a player like that, you've got to play to the goddamn strengths of the bloke. And for some reason, over the last few weeks, we've stopped playing to Charlie Wyke's strengths. Whatever reason, I don't know why, he's humping these balls up. We've gone back to hoofing football at the Parkinson days. We're just hoofing these balls up. Straight away last night, as soon as we kicked off the game, what do? We passed it back to defence, and then we just hoofed it straight up to their goalkeeper. What is the point of kicking the game off to give the ball straight to the opposition? It pisses me off so much. It really does. I just don't get it. You have the game, you kick the game off, build a bit of passion, a bit of play, but no, we'll hoof it straight to their goalkeeper. It just boils my blood.
Right, fair enough. Before we do move on, I've just seen something on the chat here. Liam Roberts says, seen the breaking news about McGeady. Has anybody seen the breaking news about McGeady?
Didn't know there was any.
I'll have a quick check while we're doing this. 55 likes. Just hit the thumbs up quick as you can, if you would please. Like to get to 155 people watching the live stream. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to kick this off with Terry and Lee Johnson. You did make the comments a few weeks ago that if we didn't make the playoffs, Lee Johnson should go. However, since we made the playoffs, you have sort of said you would stick by him and give him a chance to spend in the transfer market. I've watched your videos, your review and stuff like that, and you're a big advocate of this formation that Lee Johnson keeps playing, and you keep saying how it needs to be 3 in the middle, right? So, if they give Lee Johnson, right, if he carries on and then he spends in the transfer market, who's to say he won't then still play the 4-2-2-2, which you don't like? Go on.
Do you know the reason why I want to play a 4-3-3? You tell me the reason. You watch me videos. What's the main reason I want to play a 4-3-3?
Because we're stronger in midfield and because we get overrun when we use 2. That's what you sort of put across to everybody. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yes, because the midfield's weak as piss. All our midfield's poor. A 2 midfield's not good enough because they're not good enough, simple as. We need to have 3 in the midfield to make obviously make it stronger, but also our defence has been makeshift all season. We need the protection in front of the defence, because the defence, you've got a midfielder in the centre-back. You've got unorthodox right-back, so we need to have that extra person like Ledbetter who can control the game in the centre midfield and also help the defenders.
Right, but, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
If a manager buys his own players in, he wouldn't have that problem, would he? Surely, with KLD, he'd buy the players, he'd spend the money and buy some quality midfielders, buy some quality defenders, then you wouldn't be relying on having to play the system.
Right, well, just quickly, before I bring you in, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the 4-2-2-2, surely there's effectively, there can be four in midfield, can there not? I mean, surely they'll work between defence and attack. No? Have I got it wrong?
I honestly just don't get 4-2-2. I just don't get the 4-2-2-2 because there's no two centre. We've only got two centre midfielders. We haven't got the three. No matter how you dress it up, there's still only two centre midfielders. Like Dino said, we had Gooch last night. It wasn't three centre midfielders. It was two and Gooch, and that's it.
Right. Okay. Well, what I'll do, if you don't understand the 4-2-2-2 formation, I'll speak to Karen, and she'll come in and she'll explain it to you. Michael, you're trying to get it there.
Well, the formation depends on. I mean, the 4-2-2. If you're quickly touching on that, it could be four midfield. It depends how well the midfielders have the midfielder, and essentially it's two midfielders and two wide players really. How well they link with each other and how well they could interchange positions with each other. The main thing I was going to mention was that obviously I want to ask Terry this as well, because I know obviously you've not been. How can I put this? You've criticised Lee Johnson, which I think is fair. I'm still Lee Johnson in, by the way, but I do think that he does deserve criticism for the way that we've ended the season. Even for this group of players, the way we've ended the season is pathetic and disgraceful. But my argument is, and I know it's not Lee Johnson strictly getting the players. I'd imagine he'd have some input, but I don't think it's the regime that we're going to have that are going to get the players. There's a reason that Lee Johnson's a head coach and not a manager, because he'll have some input, but I don't imagine he'll have the final be-all and end-all say, unless the only way I can see him having the final say on transfers is if we've got a set identity of a way we want to play for next season, and then we get players who are going to fit our style of play and fit into a particular way of playing. So what I was going to ask Terry was, if in the summer we go out and get players that we've on paper, at least, and I say on paper because we won't have seen them play at this point in the summer, because we can only judge them on next season. But say we get players in like a creative midfielders, get players in who are going to create something through the middle. So then we've got something going through the middle as well as out wide. And if Lee Johnson seems to have addressed some of those issues in the summer, where would you stand on him? Do you think he then at least deserves a good go at next season?
If he's the manager in the summertime, I'll support him. I know you get my 100% support because he's the manager of the team I love. But the thing that gets me with Lee Johnson at the moment, right, is that something's not working. It's not working. He knows they're not his players. He's brought in a few players, and he knows the players are not good enough to play to the system he wants. So why are we continually going down the same road? And we're going to lose. Simple as, if we don't change something. Lee Johnson has to be the bigger man and change something. Use the players he has and adapt the system to win a game of football, because the players at the moment cannot play. We cannot play the two weakest, piss slow midfielders by themselves.
Dino, you want in there?
Yeah, do you know the two goals were conceded yesterday? Did any of them come from centre midfield or get overrun? I'm getting sick of this. We're getting overrun in midfield. The goals didn't come from the centre mid. They came from the right in a mistake. I don't get what this whole, we're getting overrun in the midfield. It had nothing to do with the goals yesterday. To be fair,
I must admit.
It had nothing to do with the goals yesterday.
Because if we were dominating and controlling games, if we had someone in midfield or two or three in midfield who can dominate, and we had the extra midfielder like Ledbetter who could protect the defence.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, the first Lincoln goal, though, how many opportunities did we have to get rid of that? Why did we?
Exactly. And how many times this season have I seen Ledbetter? How many times have I seen this season Ledbetter absolutely been the last person there to clear the ball and get the ball out of the ground, never mind just 10 yards further forward? Even then, players like Ledbetter put his heart and soul in it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, that's down to players not taking responsibility. We should have got rid of that ball. I don't know why on earth we're messing about with it. But even then, we had the chance from that. Why are we leaving Tom Hopper at the back post completely exposed and unmarked? It's basic defending, and I'm not going to be on Callum McFadden. I've done that enough already. But like the point is, clearly I don't know if he's working to actually try and improve at these things, because that's what the coach is there to do. The coach is there to say, right, this is how you stop it. Stop letting crosses come into the box. Stop switching off at the back post. Do basic things. Yes, you can maybe have a good pass that undoes you occasionally, but those 2 goals. And as good a result that is for Lincoln, we gift wrapped both goals. They didn't have to earn for them. We just basically took it up the backside and said, here you go, we're not interested in winning the playoffs. You go and have the 2 goals on a plate. It's pathetic.
Right. Just very quickly, I know you went in there, Dino. I want to give a shout out to the Black Cat podcast, great YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it already, check that out. Nice one, just donated £10 via the super chat. Can I have a round of applause for Paul and the Black Cat? And his message says, good evening, guys. Hope you're all well. Amazing show, as always. There's only one Michael Bowers. One Michael Bowers.
Never thought I'd hear a chant named after us.
Walking in a Bowers Sunderland. Big fan of you, Michael, there. So thanks, Carl, for that. Thanks, quickly remind you, it is free to use the live chat. But if you want to donate towards the channel, you can purchase a super chat. All you do, you hit the little $ at the bottom of the live chat, select the amount you want to donate, and all the money goes towards helping us grow the channel and is very much appreciated. Thank you. Dino, you wanted in on Terry there, sorry.
What really frustrates me with the centre midfield, right? You've got 2 lads in Scowen and Power who are young. One of them's 26, one of them's 28, I believe. Everything sideways and backwards. It took for a 35 or 34-year-old Leadbitter, when he came on, to get the ball. He ran forward with the ball, had a shot, and I'm sure I took a deflection off of Yoma and it clipped the post. Why is it taking a 35-year-old bloke to do that when you've got someone like Power and Scowen who won't do that? I mean, I don't get why these players are so scared to run forward with the ball, and that's been the problem this season. Our midfielders are scared to run forward with the ball. This is why I wanted Luke O'Nien in the centre, because he'll run forward, he'll burst his neck to get past the striker. No, Josh Hawks. Leave it out with Josh Hawks, man, will you? I'm sick of hearing his name. He scores an under 23 football, man.
Dino, you're going to love my team sheet for the match on Saturday.
If Josh Hawks isn't ready for us now, he's never going to be.
Anyway, right.
He's on fire.
Go on, Terry. Go, Terry.
I know you mentioned about the mistakes we make, that the midfield doesn't affect that, but let's pretend in a 4-3-3 formation, 3 centre midfielders, and we take the game to them. We get a goal, or we get a couple of goals. Then a mistake at the back doesn't seem that bad, because at the end of the day, we'll still either be winning or we'll be drawn, and we won't be 2-0 down at half time.
Right. Very quickly, what I want to do. First of all, I want to say a massive thank you to DJ Earth, who's donated £5 by the super chat. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. It will help us grow our channel. Right. Somebody mentioned about the breaking news with McGeady. It's turned out that people on the chat are saying if McGeady starts on Saturday, then they have to give him a new contract. So interesting. If that is the case, how important is if the club don't want to give him a new contract, it means him not starting on Saturday. But I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Dino?
Why wouldn't you want to give McGeady a new contract? He's been our best player this season, and he's only played half a season. If it looks like inevitably we're going to be playing League One football next season. That's what it looks like, because to win against Lincoln is going to be a big ask, and even with 10,000 fans, it's still a big ask. Because, like you say, all Lincoln need to do is put 11 men behind the ball, and we'll struggle to break them down all day long. So, for hindsight, say we're in League One anyway. We're going to be in League One. Why wouldn't you want McGeady? He's been the best player this season with half a season. He's lost a bit of pace, but he's still got his dribbling ability. He's the best assister in the league. Why wouldn't you want to give him a new contract? Unless it's a money thing and you've got to pay him more money. That's the only thing I think which might affect it, because you don't know if he has to earn more money. He gets a pay rise if he gets the 30 games. You don't know what the ins and outs of the contract is, but why wouldn't you want to give him a new contract? We're going to be getting rid of about 8 players anyway who are out of contract. Give him 1 year. It's 1 more year, and he might help. He might be the key of going up next season and staying in this league next season.
Well, we don't know the ins and outs of it. I mean, it may not be a year. I mean, the deal it could be a 2-year contract. I think the difference is this time, though, under Stuart Donald and that regime, everything was penny pinching. So it was like if an issue like this came up under their regime, they would have said, "Don't play him," because we can't afford to do that. I think we're in a much better position under KLD, where we will have the choice and we can say we're going to play him regardless, because we can afford to give him a contract, whereas it would have been taken out of our hands, I think, under the likes of Stuart Donald. I'll throw it to you, Michael, just now. A massive thank you to Steve Flounders, $4.99 by the super chat. Thank you very much to you for that as well. Michael, McGeady, should it matter if he gets a new contract? It's all about having our best team out on Saturdays, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as Dino. I think that there's a few points. First of all, one of the reasons I would actually want to keep McGeady, I mean, there's a lot of players at the minute who are going out of contract that I do not think deserve to stay at the club at all. But I think McGeady is one of them for a couple of different reasons. One, because he's the top assist maker in the league. I'm sure that his stats I've said, he's got the most assists in League One. Bearing in mind, he's missed the first 3 months of the season because of Parkinson's stupidity. So he's missed nearly half the season, basically, and he still managed to get near the top of the assist charts. The second reason is because, and yes, I know a lot of the times he can be frustrating when he tries to make it all about himself, but one of the things McGeady is, and I will give him this, he's one of the players that will not accept low standards for Sunderland in this league. And I think having that attitude around the place can only be a good thing. Don't let the standards drop to the way that it has done over the last 2 years. That, for me, is a big factor into why we haven't got promoted, and since we've dropped into League One. So I don't think McGeady's probably good. You could argue whether you can debate whether McGeady's good enough to start the Championship. For me, he's easily good enough to start in League One, easily, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm with Dino. Although you want to try and turn the game around, and it's not impossible, I do think it will be League One football next season. And even if we do turn it around against Lincoln, there's a chance we could lose in the final anyway. So, like I've said before, if we are not going to go up, I'd rather not go through the final, because then it gives us extra time to start planning for next season. And I mean, I don't know what the extra contract would be, but I would imagine at his age, it's only going to be a 1 year. It'd be 2 years at very, very, very most, but I can't see even being that. It's probably going to be a 1 year deal. I agree. I don't see any reason why not to keep it.
Terry, you're one in there with your Queen's Wave.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Michael, you think Phil Parkinson was stupid for not playing McGeady? Do you think Lee Johnson's stupid for not using Maguire?
You can argue that, yeah.
I think, you know what? The Maguire thing's just getting blown out of proportion. I think Maguire's been awful this season when he's played. I really do. I think he's been awful.
I don't think he's been stupid in not starting him, but not bringing him off the bench with 20-25 minutes. That's a different case for me.
So Dean. So Dean. So we 2-0 down. We don't look like scoring a goal. Do we not bring Maguire on for the last 10 minutes?
Exactly.
I wouldn't be against it. But I'm not the kind of person we need Maguire on, he'll change a game. Once if Maguire comes on and does literally nout.
Last night's game was crying out for Maguire. And we said it here, I know. I mean, it just was screaming out.
It wasn't just Maguire. I wanted changes at half time, because the way the game was going, there was only one team was going to score, and we even said at half time, we need to make changes at half time, because the way the game's going, there's only one team going to score. Yeah, we came out second half and we hit the bar twice. But then what happened? They went over and scored. We didn't make changes until, the 70th minute? That's still too late, even for your first substitution.
Yeah, but surely also it's criminal not to bring on your most influential sort of, who can actually get a goal from nowhere, who can create something when other players can't. You've got to bring them on with 10-15 minutes to go, at least get a goal back, give us a chance to get to the final.
Right, just very quickly before I chuck it back to you, Terry, on the chat, Bradley Young, friend of the show, says, can Grigg start? And people are saying, no, Bradley, you can't. Casey Cameron Juice says, no, thank you, Bradley. Let's get rid of Will Grigg. So he's just chugging down there. Sorry, McGeady on Saturday. Should it matter about this contract thing? Surely we should be just putting out our best team, yes?
I'll keep this short and sweet. I completely agree with the lads. There you go.
Right, okay. I wanted to keep this brief because we're sort of fast running out of time.
I just did.
I want to go on to something else. I'm going to pass it round. The goal, their second goal, Flanagan or Burge?
Oh, this will be fun.
Who was to blame? We'll start with Dino because Dino doesn't think that Lee Burge is the best keeper in League One. But looking at last night, was it Burge's fault or was it Flanagan's back pass?
Bit of both. I think Lee Burge panics. I think Lee Burge didn't realise that Patterson was running in with some pace to close him down, and he's just... On another day, he hits it off that player and it probably goes out for a goal kick. I've seen it happen many a times where you smack it off the player and the ball can go anywhere. It's just so unfortunate. It's dropped right where the goal is and he's tapped it in. It's a bad back pass by Flanagan. If Flanagan had something about me, would just put it out for a goal kick. But I feel like Lee Burge is damned if he didn't. If Lee Burge took a touch and the lad took it off him, he's at fault there. If Lee Burge knocked out for a corner or a goal kick, people would go, what are you doing? Why didn't you clear it? You can't win with Lee Burge. People would complain no matter what he did.
How can Flanagan put it out for a goal kick?
Because how can Flanagan put out for go corner? You know what I mean?
Just very quickly, the one that when we did the fan cams, we went out with the mic last night after the game, and I was speaking to a guy, and in fact Terry commented on it. The guy, if you haven't seen it, by the way, the fan cams are on our channel. Check it out. And I was talking to a guy at the end, and he was just all positive and everything. And I thought, have you watched the same game as us? Now, when he said, when we spoke to different ones, some were saying Burge, some were saying Flanagan, some were saying a combination of the two. But this guy actually said it was a handball by their striker when he charged it down. But I think that would have been harsh to have given a handball against him. Terry, what do you think? Who's to blame, Flanagan or Burge for their second goal?
Well, as much as I've said Lee Burge has been man of the match about 10 matches this season, I do think Lee Burge needs to be more vocal. He doesn't really instill me with loads of confidence. He's not the most he always looks as if he's scared half the time. So, I mean, he's halfway there. He just needs to be more vocal for me. He can see the lad coming. Lee Burge doesn't have to kick it against the lad. He could put it out for a throw-in. He could pass it, or I don't know. But for me, I thought it was more Lee Burge than Flanagan. But Flanagan didn't help himself. But at the end of the day, he's been out for 2 months. So, I mean, we don't know the lad's fitness. But I don't know. Just slightly more Lee Burge than Flanagan, I think.
I mean, I thought Flanagan didn't have a bad game, to be honest.
I thought Flanagan first half defended well. I just thought in the second half, I don't know whether he got tired or he faded away, but his concentrations level dropped. But it's down to Lee Johnson to see these problems before really they come up, you know.
You know what it was? Because he had Callum McFadden to look out for as well, so he's doing 2 jobs because he's got Callum McFadden to look out for because he was always out of position.
Yeah, fair comment, Dino. Fair comment. Tony Lee on the chat says Burge to blame without a doubt. Michael, do you agree with that? Burge or Flanagan or combination of the two?
I blame Burge more than Flanagan, but I don't think it's Burge. Well, yeah, I think Burge did panic with it. I think obviously he could have put it out for a throw-in, but again, I mean, it's easy for me to say that in hindsight when in the game it's probably a split-second decision, and it was one that unfortunately was costly. For me, it's a mixture of both, but I think you could argue that Flanagan could have put it out for a throw-in as well. It was literally just pure communication from the pair of them, and Lincoln got the benefit of it. If I had to pick one more than the other, probably Burge, but I wouldn't say a landslide for either.
Right,
Phil, I've been in that position before because I used to play in goal, and when someone gives you a back pass and someone's closing you down, I mean, there's a lot of things that goes through your head. Do you take a touch? Do you try and take him? Do you try and take it past him? Do you hoof it and hope it hits off him and goes out to play for a goal kick? There's a lot of things. And don't forget, this bloke came from behind Flanagan, so you might not even seen him because he came from behind Flanagan, and he's just put the burners on, and he's got a split second. Any other day, he hits that off Johnson, and it goes out for a goal kick. It's just unfortunate in a way as well.
I do think Burge had more than a split second. He had like a good opportunity that 3 or 4 steps before he took the chance. And you know, this guy's a professional keeper. Dino, you're not even like professional keeper. So I mean, I can understand you being confused. I can understand you in five-a-side football. When I back passed you in five-a-side football, you were considering letting it go in the own goal.
I was, to be fair.
What was that about?
But the thing is, though, I've played outfield, whereas Lee Burge is just a keeper. He's there to use his hands. He's not a Neuer where he can use his feet and he's got confidence to do certain things. He's just a goalkeeper. I've got confidence to use my feet. Whereas Lee Burge he's just a goalkeeper. He's not
just a goalkeeper.
You don't look at Lee Burge and go, oh, he can do a step over. He can do some skills and take players on when he's 1-on-1. He's not a Neuer. He's a League One goalkeeper. Let's get that right.
All he had to do was run 4 or 5 steps. And either just clear it, that was it. He didn't have to do a step over. Didn't have to do kicky ups.
He tried to
clear it. Somebody else.
He tried to clear it, and there was somebody in front of him.
I mean, he's a professional goalkeeper. All he had to do was pass it out to play.
Harry, let's be fair. This doesn't just happen to Lee Burge. This has happened to keepers probably in League One, other than Lee Burge. This has happened to people in Champions. I mean, look at Karius when he launched the ball in Champions League final. Keepers make mistakes, mate.
No, we're not saying they do. Our keepers make loads of mistakes, but we're not saying that other keepers don't make mistakes. What I'm saying is he had a lot more time to clear that ball than you realise.
Right, hang on. I'll chuck at you, Michael, now. But Michael, obviously you're blaming Burge, you say, more than Flanagan, which means you could have Dino around knocking on your door later for an explanation. Michael?
Michael's just talking regardless anyway.
A lot of Burge the second he makes a mistake.
I kind of hear him.
Michael,
I've seen a lot of people be extremely quick to be to leave Burge this.
Michael, hang on, I'm going to have to just mute him. Michael?
Kick him.
Michael, your audio's gone funny. Can you just either come out and go back in, yeah? Andy's frozen as well.
Like I said before, I've given Lee Burge man of the match about 10 occasions this season. He's done half decent, but I just do think that it was more his fault than Flanagan last night.
Right, okay.
Can we just say, though, he made a save. There should have been 1-0 in the first 10 minutes. He made a great save off the bar.
He made a couple of good saves, Dean. He made a couple of good saves. Just before they scored, he made a decent save.
Can you give us a sec, lads? Hang on. Michael, if you can hear us, your audio is really bad. Can you come out and come back in, and we'll see if that's puts that right, because we can't really hear what you're saying. Just very quickly then, I'm going to go the chat here, because you're going to like this one, Dino. Paul Moss on the chat says, Dino sticking up for crappy Burge. Shock horror.
Right. Do you know what winds me up? People say support the team, but you don't want to support the players, and you'll give them criticism anytime you want. You need to make your mind up. If you're going to support the team, you've got to support the players. And people just like to shit on Lee Burge. I mean, people say, oh, this keeper's better, McGillivray's better than him and all this shit. They've seen him play twice this season because they play us. Them don't know what mistakes them have made in the whole season. Every keeper's made mistakes this season, but they go on because they've had 2 good games against Sunderland, or they're better than Lee Burge. You haven't seen them from game 1 to game 46. For all we know, McGillivray's made the same mistakes, cost them points, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what other keepers are doing in the leagues because you don't watch them. Because you see them twice against Sunderland, you think they're the best keeper in the world, man. Behave yourself.
Go on, Dino. Come on. Hit him with your disco.
Because you know what does me head in as well, Phil?
Yes.
Scowen for me. He didn't do anything wrong yesterday. He didn't do anything good. He didn't create anything, but he didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't make mistakes. He was all right with the ball. He was an average performance. But people, because we got beat, it was Scowen's fault, because Scowen was in midfield. I'm not being funny. People just like to bring it up for the sake of bringing it up.
Terry always.
Do you know what does my head in, Dino? This bloody cough. Sick of this bloody cough.
It's doing my head in as well, mate.
It's mine as well. Mute your mic when you have a cough, but we'll let you off this time. Right. we're fast running out of time here, and I quickly want to get on to Saturday's game. But before I do, 10,000 fans going on Saturday, and we've said in the past on this channel how that is going to be a massive bonus for us, we believe. But knowing Sunderland fans, as we know Sunderland fans, I said, I think last week or the week before, I didn't think that they would turn and get on the players' backs because of the simple fact that they haven't been to the ground for a whole season. It's been, however many months. And so I think they'll be that pleased to be in. They're there to support the team and they'll get behind them. But the reaction I've seen to last night's result, I'm not totally sure. If Lincoln was to get an early goal on Saturday, I can see the fans turn out. I hope I'm wrong, and I just want to pass it around. Terry, do you think the 10,000 will get behind the team and not start getting on the backs?
Well, yeah, of course they will, man. Best fans in the land. Of course they'll get behind the team. They'll get behind the team, fully support the team. Lee Johnson will come out. He'll make a complete blinder, change the formation, bring some youth in, completely surprise and bamboozle us all, and we'll go on to win 3-0. There you go.
Dino, do you agree with that?
What was the question? Sorry, I've been reading the comments.
The 10,000 fans on Saturday, right? Is that going to be a big plus for us? And is it likely that if it's not going our way, that those 10,000 fans are going to turn against the team and get on the players' backs?
You know what? After the result last night, I don't even think there'll be 10,000 fans there. You know what Sunderland fans are like. They might just be like, see, the fact is, we wanted to go into that game being a close tie, a 0-0, maybe would go a lead or 1-0. 2-0, I feel like people have just given up now anyway. I feel like people just say, what's the point in going? This is just my opinion, Phil. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
The opinion's ridiculous. I mean, it's just like the thing is.
Oh, thanks. I thought it was all about opinions, Phil.
Well, it is about you allowed your opinion, but I'm allowed mine, and I think the fans haven't been right for that long, right? Somebody who's finally got a ticket. I'd have liked a ticket. I didn't get a ticket.
Mate, I see people on Twitter saying who wants to buy me ticket, and everyone was going on day one. It's all right.
Well, they don't deserve that ticket. If they want to give that ticket away, then they don't, or sell that ticket, then they don't deserve that ticket in the first place. Because there's people out there would kill to get a ticket because of the simple fact they haven't been for so long. So I reckon there'll be 10,000 fans there, regardless. Michael, 10,000, they're going to be a big help to us. Or can you see them turning on the team?
It entirely depends on how it entirely depends on how the application of the team is. If we can see the team giving 110% and at least attempting to try and claw this back and go for it, then the fans will get behind them. It works both ways, though. The team have got to put their bit in to give the fans something to shout about. I do agree with you that I think that to start with, certainly the fan. I think there'll be when it comes to the game, fans will think, right, we haven't been here for 16 months now. And let's get behind the team and see what happens. But if we can see the team being sackless, and if we can see the team going into their shells, and we can see the team going out with a whimper, they will let the players know. And in that case, I think it's pretty fair. So, yeah, it entirely depends on how we approach the game. It entirely depends on the players' application and performance.
Right, okay. Dino, keep it brief if you can.
I just seen Paul Moss says, because obviously he says that I defended Birds, no surprise. And I've just seen him there. He says, a lad with a Geordie accent. I don't get what my accent's got to do with why I support a certain team. Yeah, that's just where ridiculous. I'm from. It's not my problem. I've got a bit of a Geordie accent. Not my problem. But I'm not telling you how to support your club. I'm just saying, people say support the club, but just why criticise the players at the end of the day? People say Lee Burge is really bad. He got team of the season goalkeeper, so he can't be that bad. Let's be fair. People are judging him because he's not John McLaughlin.
People have been very quick to hammer him when he makes a mistake.
Yeah, and, people are quick to jump on him when he makes a mistake. But when he keeps winning the game, no one's there to say, "Oh, he was class." He doesn't get any recognition. It's just when he makes a mistake. I'm not telling you how to support your club, but just because I've got a Geordie accent, don't tell me why do I support Sunderland or whatever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, 100% Paul Moss. I mean, you'll not get a truer fan than Dino. He's red and white through and through. The fact he has a Geordie accent means nothing. It's so you can't.
I know people from Essex Like Matty Leeds supports Sunderland, but he doesn't have. He's got a London accent.
Yeah.
You know?
I always thought Dino sounded Scouse. I didn't realise he was a Geordie.
Right. Listen, quickly before I go on to Saturday's team, because we are going to run over slightly, but we're doing all right. 201 people on the stream, 83 likes. If we get another 17 thumbs up, we'll hit the 100 we would like to get. Just very quickly, a little annoyance for me last night when I was watching the match was, the Lincoln fans were having a great night and what have you. And then, but when they were setting the flares off outside the ground and jumping about and celebrating, I was thinking that could very well come back to bite you on the bum. And anyway, I hope it does. It just annoyed me. And to be fair, if it had been us, we'd have probably done the same anyway. But I thought...
Not that bad. We wouldn't be setting flares off our semi-final, man, are we?
I mean, they were, they were, it's like they'd won the playoff final and they were going up. And I thought, that could come back to bite you. Right then, let's quickly go on to Saturday and the team. And I'd like a prediction from you. We'll leave you till last, Terry, because I'm sure you're going to have the writing on the wall, are you?
I just want to say one thing, how at Lincoln were in non-league 3 or 4 seasons ago, so they're getting excited to be in the championship. They could possibly be in the championship. It's a massive result, So for me, I've got no problem with Lincoln fans celebrating at all.
Oh, I didn't like it.
What Terry's just said there makes that all the more embarrassing for Sunderland, considering where we were 4 years ago.
Exactly.
No, I mean, this is where we are. We are League One. That's where we are. You have to accept that. Right.
Doesn't mean you can't have expectations.
Your team for Saturday, what would you do? I can imagine you'd bring the likes of Josh Hawkes in, fresh young blood and all that.
There's only one player I would probably bring in for the centre, and that's Dan Neil. There's only one player for me who goes in that team who's a young one, is Dan Neil. I think if we play the same team with the same players, we've got no chance, because you can't play the same players all the time and expect results to change. They're not doing anything spectacular. They're all doing the average. I'll just get down the wing and I'll cross it in, and if no one's there, I've done my job. Like there's no cohesion. There's no. It's like they don't even know each other. That's how they play. It's like they don't even know each other. And I'm going to say we're going to get beat 1-0. I just think it'll be a shit show. I think it will be a shit show.
I was going to say what's your prediction, but 1-0. Also, just keep it brief though, Dino. Do you think we need to come out of the blocks and get that early goal quick, or do you think we need to make sure when we come out we don't concede early? What do you think is more important?
You've got to get the goal. You've got to go and get the goals. There's no away goals, so you've just got to score. Just score more. We know we can put 4 past Lincoln. We've done it before. You've got to go out and you've got to take risks. You've got to take chances. Not unless, don't go past the halfway line. You've got to take chances in this game. 2-0 down. That's all you've got to do is take chances. Because Lincoln aren't going to come out and attack. They're just going to waste time from the start to finish. That's what they're going to do. You've got to be at them 100%. If the ball goes out of play, go and get the ball for them. Put it in the hands. Let them waste no time.
Right, just very quickly before I pass it to you, Michael, and then we'll go to Terry. We've got to give a shout out to Taffy Mackham, friend of the show, fantastic guy, and we love him. And he says it's been bad this season. And he's saying he'd set a flare off even if we won the toss for kick-off. So there you go. Michael, team for Saturday, what would you bring in some fresh blood, or how would you play? And we need a prediction from you.
For my predictions, I actually do think we'll win, but I don't think we'll win the tie. I think we'll win 2-1. I do think we'll probably come out with a little bit more out of the traps early on, get ahead, but we'll, per typical, concede a goal. We'll get to 1-1. Then I predict we'll get one midway through the second half, and then it just won't be enough. We've just got to go for it. There's no point. There's no point shirking at this stage. If you're going to go out, at least go out with a fight. I can't be bothered going out with a whimper. Give Lincoln something to think about, and if we overturn it, great. If not, then start planning for next season, because I'm done with this season. I'm sick of it.
Oh, strong views from Michael. That's what we want. Terry, is the writing on the wall?
It sure is, because Lee Johnson probably won't do anything different, so that means we'll probably get beat. I did say last week, and you slagged me off for this. If he plays the way he wants to play this rotten performance with this formation, the best we could hope for was a draw. But why not do something out of the box? Why not do something different? Why not change it up a little bit? I'm not saying he's going to do this, and this is just an example, but I would want to bring in a couple of youngsters, because next season apparently he's going to bring Hawks into the side, and we'll have people are saying, "Oh, it's too soon. 30,000 fans would be too soon." Let's bring them in with 10,000 fans or 8,000 fans on Saturday. Let's have a couple of youngsters in. Now, what I would do, it's pretty clear, is that the writing is on the wall. If it stays the way it is, it will be.
Sorry, can you get us in closer? That's it. Let's have a look. Yeah, we'll do this for you. Let's get you.
There we go. So, right. Obviously, with the way Flanagan played the other day, people are on his back straight away. So Luke 09 goes back to where it is. Powell goes to right back. Apparently, he's played best there all season. Ledbetter has to be the holding midfielder. He has to come in with the experience, the confidence, the will, the belief, and get some youngsters in the side. There's no harm in giving these lads a chance. If we don't do this, we're going to go out. That's my opinion. I hope I am wrong. I hope Lee Johnson gets it right. But for me, people are saying McGeady. Hawks plays in McGeady's position. McGeady's been coming into the centre. Let's Hawks go wide. Let's you can interchange. Hawks, Neil, the youth, the energy, the want, the drive, the ability with the experience of Ledbetter. Get the ball. Let's get Lincoln something different to think about on Saturday instead of saying, right, the midfield shite. Let's not bother with Power and Scowen. We'll just have 3 men on Jones and McGeady. Let's get something different. Neil and Hawks, or even just one of those two. And obviously, Wyke up front. If it doesn't work, you bring on Stewart. I'd be happy with one of those two come along with Winchester. But for me, if it was me, I would start the both, fair enough, and see what they're made of for next season. There we go. It's just my opinion. That's what I would do. Because if we play what we've been playing all this last 10 games, we're going to go out with a whimper, an absolute whimper.
Can I have a prediction from you, Terry?
If we play the same team as last night, but Lee Johnson promises attacking football, the best we can hope for is a 1-1 draw. But again, I hope I'm wrong. I pray to the gods I'm wrong, and for some reason we can win. If we do something different, I'm going to go for a 5-0 win. That's a 3-0 win.
3-0 win. My word. Right.
But remember, I'm completely mad. So,
listen. I mean, for me, Josh Hawks. If you're ready, you're ready. I mean, Wayne Rooney played for Everton at 17, didn't he? And this kid's on fire. I'm banging him. And
don't be comparing Rooney to picking Josh Hawks, man. That's disrespectful to Rooney.
How do you know Josh Hawks cannot step into that first team?
Because Josh Hawks is 23, isn't he? Josh Hawks is older, and we got him from Picken's Conference South team or something, didn't we?
But what I'm trying to say to you, right? You don't know because he's not being given the opportunity. He could get put in that team and be an absolute superstar. You just don't know because he's not been given the opportunity. Terry?
Wayne Rooney was a brick shit house, a little bull, a little terrier when he was youngster. Josh Hawks is probably a different build, different kind of character. He might be a late maturing young lad. He might not have matured until he was 21, 22, and now he's coming to his own. We don't know. We can't be any worse than we are at this moment in time, Dino. What's the worst case scenario? We're in League One next season. If we play the way we've been playing, we're in League One next season. We need to do something different.
Right, just very quickly, got to give a shout out to Taffy Mackham, who's donated £5 via the super chat. Can we have a round of applause? A friend of the show, Taffy Mackham. Can we have a Michael Bowers clap? And in comment is Philly's a grafter, Terry is lazy, supporting this club is sending me crazy. There you go, bit of poetry from Taffy Mackham. Go on, Terry.
To be fair, Taffy's quite right. I had a nana nap this afternoon. I had to go to bed because my cough was getting too bad, so I went to bed for an hour and a half just so I could be up for this tonight.
It's an age thing. DJ says he'd rather have Chesney Hawks. Right, fair enough. For me, I mean, I've said from the start of the playoffs, I don't even think we'll make the playoff final. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But my prediction, I can't seem to back against Sunderland. So I'm going to go for Sunderland 2, Lincoln 0, and Sunderland to win it on penalties. So it'll be it'd be a nice way to make the final, if possible. Well, look, we've run over, but there was a lot to talk about. We've got loads I haven't even touched on, but such was the game last night and what we had to chat about. Before we do go, just very quickly, once again, I want to give a shout out to the One Football app, who sponsor SAFC Fan TV, an absolutely superb app with all your football needs on there. It's got up to the minute news on our team or your team. The games going on. It's got all the live scores as they happen in each of the games. And through the summer, it'll be a fantastic app to use for all the transfer news and transfer rumours as well. If you want it, it is free to download, and the link is in the description below. So thanks to One Football supporting the channel. Thank you very much. That just about wraps it up, lads. Saturday, has any of you got a ticket? I don't think any of us. Terry, you're trying to get one, are you?
No.
You're not? All right, okay.
I haven't been all season. Not going to change now.
Right, okay. Terry, you'll be doing a live stream on Saturday, are you?
Sure will be.
Terry will be doing his fantastic live stream on the Mad Mistake on his channel. So make sure you check that out. We will also be doing a live stream here with myself, Michael Bowers, and the return of CONRAD Lee is going to join us as well. So that's something to look forward to on Saturday.
With his silky smooth footballing skills.
Oh, it will. It'd be all that. It'd be fantastic. And back to Bailey Wright. So there you go. So don't forget, thanks for watching. Please if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it is free to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. That will help us out. We will be back on Saturday. So from myself, wee Philly, from Dino without his disco lights tonight, from super sexy Michael Bowers, and from the Mad Mistake, we want to say goodbye, and we will see you Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. See you. Bye-bye.